Welcome, everyone. This is Marquessa Petway, your business reinvention expert, the founder and chief coach of the National Center for Speaker Training. I'm also a proud columnist for Speaker Magazine, which is published by the National Speakers Association. Now, I am in the middle of doing a major feature that goes by the title of The Path to Becoming a Celebrity Speaker. And I've asked all my celebrity buddies to offer a little bit about what they did in their journey. How did they become household names? How did they become celebrities? What are some of the strategic and non-strategic steps they took? So I get a chance to have one of my favorite people. She is a personal friend of mine, a colleague, a superstar. I love this woman because she's sincere. She's got the heart that matches everything. And you guys may remember Sinclair from Living Single. She's a lot like Sinclair. Just the sweet part of Sinclair. But I just love Kim Cole's spirit, and she's doing her own thing out there. Heavy hitter. She teaches people how to be funny. So hopefully she'll give us that information a little bit later. So welcome, Miss Kim Coles.
Thank you, Miss Marquessa Petway, and the feeling is mutual. There you go.
I love it. I've always wanted to do that. Well, first of all, Kim, you are out there speaking everywhere for major corporations, at major conferences. You were in New York when we did, because I did a column feature on you talking about how to speak your funny and become this humorous speaker. And we met in Soho, and you had a major speaking engagement with a corporation out there.
I sure did.
Share with folks a little bit about your speaking business so they can learn about that side of you.
Well, sure. Thank you for having me, first of all. So I'll say that I'm really fortunate in that those of you who know me know I started out as a stand-up comedian. And as a comedian, I have learned to use my tools and gifts as a comic to then bring them into the speaking stage. So I get hired sometimes because I'm Kim Coles. I get hired sometimes because of my message, but I use the skills and gifts that I have learned over the years to then to bridge and put into my speaking engagements. So did I answer the question? I'm not sure I answered the question.
Well, you did. You bridge. Yeah.
Yes. So
for different reasons. Go ahead.
What's awesome is that, so I have a particular message, and I use humor to deliver that message, but I'm able to go and speak at very corporate events. You know, I spoke at Cisco and Bank New York Mellon this year, which doesn't get more corporate than that, but I can also speak at fraternities and sororities and more of the women's empowerment space and more of the entrepreneurial space. So I bring my message wherever I go, and it's great that I get to do lots of kinds of speaking engagements.
Oh, this is great. And then, Kim, what I love is you get hired for you. Part of my time with you and preparing for the most recent article is you have a whole brand called Kimspiration.
I say that I have a brand. It's called Kimspiration, and I'm building a Kimpire. Everything has Kim up in it. And the lesson in that is everything that you do should have you in it. You should be the centerpiece of everything that you do. And I think that is, and I'm sure you're going to get to this question, it's one of the ways to brand yourself in the sort of celebrity space, whatever that means. But the further up the food chain you move, it's being very clear about what your message is and being aligned with it. And so Kimspiration is just that. It's taking the messages and the lessons I've learned over the years and putting myself in it, and they're inspirational as well. And so yes, that is that's the brand that I'm pushing now, or not even pushing, that's the brand that I'm putting out there right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kim, you are a real deal celebrity. Let me take a sip of water here.
And I'm going to take a sip of tea. We're even.
I love it. A real deal celebrity out there, where you, again, started off as a stand-up comedian, got on in Living Color, went on to Living Single was created around you. And then you've done numerous shows. I mean, every time I turn on the TV, you are there.
Yeah.
I'll never forget recently, this past year, was it this year, on the BET Awards. I'm just chilling, watching the awards, minding my own business. And someone comes on the stage and they mention comedians and they happen to say Kim Coles. And I'm like, yeah!
Wow, that was so huge for me because I wasn't at the show. I wasn't in the audience. I wasn't presenting that day. And to have created a career where now I'm considered a bit of a vet, is a good thing. It's an humbling thing.
You're one of the most famous Kims out there. And that's huge. So for those speakers that are listening that are saying, hey, I really want to become a celebrity, and I'm using speaking as a way to bridge me there, give us some advice.
Okay.
What are some steps we can take to go into celebrity world?
Right. And, I have, question marks around the word celebrity because it means so many different things to so many people. But for me, I'll say that it means that you're moving up the food chain. You're able to get better gigs and you're able to, let's go there, make more money, have a bigger platform, and also use that platform to serve even more. So if that is what celebrity means, if that's what I'm making celebrity mean, then I would say, number one, be very clear about your brand, be very clear about your message, and be consistent across all platforms. I recently agreed to speak at someone's convention recently, and I began to just sort of tune into some of her live streaming efforts. And she curses a lot. And a lot of what she does, and not that there's anything wrong with cursing, I just didn't know that was her brand. So the brand, the Instagram photos, the Facebook posts are all very professional and very clean looking and very, this is the message I'm putting out there. But when she's on her live stream, she's cursing and she's, doing some things I think, or saying some things I think are a little off topic and a little off color, and it's okay if that's who you are in your private life, but when you're presenting your public life, it must be in alignment at all times. And it's okay to have fun, and I'm not even opposed to the cursing part of it, but it just felt like as if it was off brand. So be on brand in the public eye as much as you can. It doesn't mean that you don't be authentic. I'm saying be authentically you everywhere so that you don't have to segment yourself, that when I'm here, I'm like this, when I'm here, I'm like this, and when I'm like here, I'm like this. Because when you're at home, of course, you got your pajamas and you got your hair up in a bun. But when you're on stage, you're presenting your best self. And so really just be in perfect alignment that when you are on stage, and you are on stage all the time, that you're not at home in your jammies with your hair up in a bun. Meanwhile, I recognize that my hair's up in a bun right now. So what am I trying to say?
Cute bun. It's supposed to be that way.
Right. Well, yeah, it's about being authentic and being aligned at all times. And I think that those are the people who rise up the food chain, rise up the totem pole, and get known as quote unquote celebrities. If the message that they deliver is always the message that they deliver. And being clear, concise, and consistent in that is a really perfect way to keep going and going and going.
Now, I love that you said earlier that it depends on what celebrity means to you. And I think in the world of speaker land, it really means being influential. Influential enough where a Walmart or Dunkin' Donuts or some major company will say, you know what? We want Kim to come and speak at our conference, but we also want her to be our spokesperson. Yes. Or, where it's bigger than just one speech.
Yes.
They really want to work with you consistently. So maybe
that's the holy grail, isn't it? That's the holy grail. I'll say this to you, no matter where you are in your journey, you're always reaching for the next level. So even the best of the best, of the best of the best who have had those kinds of contracts you're talking about are ever reaching for the next level. And maybe the next level is to not go up, but go wide. I think this is what you're talking about too. And so just know that no matter where you are, it is all right to wish and want and intend to go higher and wider.
Okay, good. I love that, higher, wider. Now, what are some of the strategies you use? And it's really interesting for you because you went the traditional route
Mhm.
You went the comedic route with being in the clubs and getting noticed that way, which led to living color. And then once you're on Living Color, you're on TV and people are like, who is this chick? So you get all this visibility. And then Living Single being created for you. So then you had that, you came on in Living Single, to my in Living, I'm getting the two confused. Came on Living Single, which by the way I was a huge fan of, and I still am. I just don't want to be living single all the time, but
Yes.
so a huge fan of it. And so then that helped you, but then you didn't stop, because Kim, there are a lot of celebrities that had a show back when.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
But
yes.
they didn't stay relevant. They didn't stay in the mix.
Right.
They didn't continue to go wider and higher. And so you've put in the work to, and part of that is creating that speaker brand
Very
with
much
staying
so.
relevant. So you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I went the traditional showbiz route, as you're saying, but actually speaking for me, and we've talked about this before, speaking is the thing that changed the game for me completely, because it was about how do I stay relevant even if I'm not on a TV show. So for those of us who want to be on TV, we want to be, an actor, we want to be in show business, the holy grail is either TV or film. Now, what happens if you're not on a film or on a TV show? So I used speaking as a way for me to still be in front of audiences. And for me, it was to deliver a very specific message. I went through a very difficult time because my TV show was canceled. And I went through a very difficult time because of the fear of success or the fear of failure or whatever fear I was going through. And I shopped through all of my money. And in this depression and in this feeling sorry for myself, and in learning how to be grateful for what was already working for me, I realized I needed to share that message with other people. So I know you're depressed about this. I know that's not working for you, or maybe you're going through a difficult time. Maybe I can just go and talk directly to the people about what I went through, because I think sometimes we as celebrities or experts or teachers are sometimes 5 minutes ahead of the people that we're trying to serve, or maybe 10 minutes ahead. Some of us are 10 light years ahead. But at that time I began speaking, in all transparency, I was 5 minutes ahead of the people that I was talking to, or the people that I wanted to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And so speaking for me holds a very special, very sacred place in my heart, because it was the way I began to heal myself by serving others and wanting to see them be healed as well. And I'm not saying that everyone in the audience was 5 minutes behind me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that it was a conversation that needed to happen. And for me, being a quote unquote celebrity and being on this pedestal that people put you on, for me to come down off the pedestal and say, you know what? I'm having trouble just like you. I've been on a red carpet with my picture being taken with the paparazzi with $27 in my pocket. And if I can get through it, then you can get through it too. And that became the way I launched my speaking business. So it really was a celebrity letting you behind the wall and letting you behind the curtain to show you that we're human too. So my platform wasn't from way up on high. I came down off the pedestal and said, me too, girlfriend. Me too, boyfriend. Me too. Are you going through trouble? Me too. Let's get through this together. And I developed tips and tools and techniques to help people get through that. And so I don't even, how I talk.
I know.
You ask me a question, and I'll go off on a whole other thing.
You're like, what was the question again? I love
What
it.
was the question? Hopefully I answered it.
No, you did.
That is the way. That the truth is that, you use your celebrity, if you're using it well, if you're using this wonderful gift that has been given to you, or the wonderful gift that you're trying to grow into, it is to serve and influence in a way, in a way that makes a difference in the world.
I love that. And this is the final question, to get very clear on strategies. There are some speakers that will just, this is my book. I'm an author, so I should be important. There's another type of speaker out there that says, well, I got 15 different accolades. I speak in front of all these audiences. I'm really important. There's another kind of speaker that says, you know what, I'm going to go out and make all these wonderful celebrity friends and rub elbows with them and treat them well, and hopefully they'll let me into the circles. What do you feel is right? And I think this is so important, because we got to stop making these mistakes.
Yeah.
What do you feel? And this is a really perfect question for you, Kim, because you're in this space all the time. You got to know when people are not authentic when they're trying to connect with you. You got to know this. You got to know where people are, or you're like, oh, girl, you're doing it all wrong. If I see your book one more time, I'm going to scream. So what's your advice to the speakers out there, or the people that are using speaking as their platform to get into that world, but with choosing specific strategies or tactics to get there?
I'm going to say, get your ego out of the way. Your book that you've written is to serve. The celebrities that you want to elbow with, if you want that so that you can serve more. That everything that you do, everything that you should do should be about serving more. And when you come from the place of who can I serve, how can I help, then you take the ego out of it. Then the book is just a way in, or elbowing with the celebrities means that you can either help them or they can decide whether or not they want to further your message. But it's not like, it's not that energy of that. It's that energy of, I've got something to share and serve. And I think getting the ego out of the way is a great way to do it. I recently spoke at an event, and the person who followed me and I'm a comedian, so and when I speak, I use humor. I use humor and heart is what I say. The person who spoke after me totally discounted what I had done on stage. Well, I'm not an entertainer. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to deliver my message. And it was like, wait a minute, I was no less effective. And so I think he let his ego get in the way of what was being delivered that day. And so it's not about your ego. It's about who you're there to serve. He was there to serve as well. And he let ego, I think that's what happened. So I would say that would be my answer, to move your ego out of the way and go, what am I doing this for? What is my why? I always start with that when I'm teaching. What is your why? Mm-hmm. And if your why is to make a lot of money and to be an influencer, that's okay. It's not going to last you very long, because I think in the end, the people choose. The people decide. I've always said this, Marquessa, that in the end, so there's the executive producers and the directors and the writers and the people who make all these decisions. But in the end, it's the audience who makes the decision. In the end, it's about those people sitting in those seats when you're performing live. Those are the people that you have to empower and influence or teach or give to. And if it ain't about them, it ain't about nothing else. Boom, they're upset it.
That's why I love you, my dear. You are so organic and authentic, and you just share your why. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Yes. Lead with your heart, and lead with a servant. You want to serve, and everything else will come, and then you work your butt off too.
Yeah, so, and then you work your butt off, and then because it's not about whether or not the green. There's stories of writers. People have their writers. Like I want no green M&Ms in the thing. I only want chilled water. I only want. You know what? Half the time I go speak, I take my shoes off so I can feel grounded. Like, is there some water? Is there a good light? Is the microphone working? Let me at the people. It's not about all the, you want to pick me up from the airport in your Hyundai. Okay. I don't have to have a town car. Town car is nice. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I have had that experience. I've had the limousine door open. I've been on a private jet. I've been on a couple of private jets. It's nice. You know what? Sometimes you got to get there with Southwest and scurrying for your seat. And sometimes somebody picks you up in their Hyundai. And sometimes it's a turkey sandwich backstage, and you scoff that down. Not scoff. What's the word? You know what I'm looking for.
I know what you're talking about.
Shove that in your face, and you go out and speak to the people. That's what it's all about. I still want the private jet experience. Don't get me wrong.
But whatever it is, you're going to give.
I will take Spirit Airlines. I call it break your Spirit Airlines. I will take Spirit Airlines if I have to. Boom.
Well, you're nice, because I can't deal with Spirit, but that's
I hate it. But if I have no choice,
I'll go United. Somebody else with Spirit, woo! But anyway, Kim, you are full of information and awesome as always. You can just tell everyone that's watching this how to get in touch with you and what's going on and how can they engage.
Yes. Okay. So I have a website, is kimcoles.tv. But I also have a wonderful course that I'm launching right now. When does this go live, Miss Marquez?
This is 2016.
Right now. Okay. So Speak Your Gifts will always be up and running. You know, since we're talking about speaking, I have launched a course called Speak Your Gifts. And one part of the course is doing just what we're talking about today, sort of uncovering your message and finding what your heart is in this. And the second part of it is the how-tos of speaking and how to add humor. So humor and heart together, and that is Speak Your Gifts. So depending on when this airs, right now I'm launching the course, and if not, there will be some information at speakyourgifts.com that I can help you on your journey. Would be my pleasure and delight.
Oh, I recommend. She is awesome. I've worked with her before. Kim is the bomb. All right. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you. Hold tight, and I'm going to end the interview. Thank you, everyone. This is Marquessa Patway, your business reinvention expert.